Working back then on the command line of our Ubuntu 14.04 master server, before we get too much into our logging, let's just look at the default behavior. One of the things I'm going to look at is the rndc command, and we're going to look at the status. Now, we've seen this before, and we see we get lots of great information coming back, but I want to concentrate on the query logging is off. We can dynamically turn this on and off, or toggle query logging on, because of course this is going to generate a vast amount of traffic or a vast amount of logging traffic if we enable it. The default logging is going through to the syslog daemon. So this means then the log file we need to look at on the Ubuntu host is going to be /file/log/syslog. If we take a look inside this, so if we use then tail -f to follow /file/log/ and then our syslog file, we can see then that we're capturing quite a lot. And whilst we're following this, if we then go through and issue a query, remember query logging itself is turned off at the moment. So if I just go through to a client terminal, an up arrow key, and we just look up a PTR record, and then return to the log file, we can see then that we've got a little bit of activity. It's really just saying that we were unable to resolve some names. With this, it probably was there from before, and we haven't re-looked these up. But if I go through and take a look, let's say for another name, so if I go host www, we just do something short, so ford.com will probably be quite a good one. And then going through, again, then we can see that there's more information. We're just getting some of this network unreachable, but we look at these are then the IP version 6 network. So even though query logging isn't turned on, we're obviously going to log errors and information like that we are getting back. But there is going to be an awful lot of chat, and it's all going to be mixed up within this main syslog file. So we might want to start to change that. But before we do, let's just enable query logging. So let me do a Control-C here, Control-L, go back up to my status, and I'm just going to change this to query log. Now, of course, we wouldn't just have one client querying, we could have hundreds, if not thousands of clients querying. So this is where it could then become quite chatty. But looking at our status again, we can see from this now query logging is turned on. When we go back and tail our file, so let's just go back and do the !T, we can see there that query logging is now turned on. And then when we go through and say reissue this command, when we go through, we can actually then see the client request coming through. So we can see there we've gone and looked for address records or IP version 6 records. We can see there we've gone and looked for MX records. We see the client request here looking for the address record. So go back to the client, we didn't specify the type of address that we wanted to. So if we went back up and changed this to dig rather than host, we can see how more efficient the client is going to be. So dig and then specify -T address records. So we've got our response coming back, but then look at our client, then this is just the single request, sorry, it just moved that we're looking at, but we had then just the single request for the address record rather than looking up the MX record and the IP version 6 records. Let's Control-C to stop the follow, and then Control-L to clear this. And we're then going to go through and turn our client logging off. So rndc and query log. Look at our status, and we can see then that our status is back off. So we've seen how relatively easily we can control our logging behavior by enabling and disabling our query logs. In doing so, we used RNDC to turn it on and turn it off, to toggle it. And this is allowed because it's something that can generate an awful amount of traffic or log traffic if we enable query logging. But in doing so, we're also able to see the behavior of the host command, where we weren't specifying the type of record that we were looking up. We were getting 3 lookups for the address, the IP version 6 address, and an MX record. By using dig and actually specifying the type of record, we got that down to a single result or a single query, giving us better understanding of both our clients and the behavior of the server. Now we're still working with the default syslog daemon, and we are capturing everything from debug and above. So we want to look at how we can start controlling this a little bit more. So we're going to look in the next video at how we can create and manage our own log files.